Welcome back. I'm Connie Kolosey, Director of Media Text and Digital Learning, and I have with me on our episode today Cherie Marsh and Carroll Bauer. And between them, they are the masterminds behind ST Math for Carroll and Istation for Cherie. And these are two digital learning platforms that all of our elementary schools are using, and all of our elementary students are clocking time. And I will mention that we had last week about 140,000 logins to each of these programs. And so we have kids, they are logging on and we're using it. So one of the, let's talk a little bit about some of, you guys have been on the front line of working toward our single sign-on this year through a platform called Clever. Yes. And when you're trying to train a lot of people on a new process, there's almost always bumps, and some of the bumps are user related and some of the bumps are system related. And yes. So one of the frustrations that we've had is how do we get on at home, right? Mm-hmm. And how do we get parents on at home? So we want to show this going to our district website here. So this is our main pcsb.org, the main district site, and as we scroll down just a bit, we see the shortcuts, site shortcuts over there on the left. So right here on our front page, we have a little link called Clever, and when we hit that link, it takes us to an information page about using Clever at home. And on this page, first of all, when we actually want to log into Clever, we have a click here to log into Clever, which we can go ahead and do that now. But while we're here, I want to stop because it would be great if we were to log on and show parents what their students see, but we can't do that. And there's a reason for that. And you want to explain that to us?
I think security is the biggest reason.
Yeah.
This way, children, they have username and passwords, and we want them to learn how to be secure and when they're navigating on out there in the big world. And so I have my own personal password and username, and so do you all, and, yes. And so do the children. So when they log on with Active Directory, which is just simply clicking there, it asks them for their username and password. It says, uh-oh, because this computer is not logged on as any child, and so and we don't have the access. We can't use their program. We can't check their work that way.
So we discussed this, and if we logged on with a child's name, we'd be logging onto their personal information. So
correct. So but if they were to click here, if they've logged on at school, they log on to their computers, and so when they click there, it automatically logs them on. They don't have to log on again. It brings up all the icons that represent Istation, ST Math, and the other programs that they have available to them. And they don't have to do it again. They just do it that one time when they either log on here or when they log on to the computer.
And so this log on with Active Directory, that's a system that we have here in the district that populates our Clever and our various programs specific to that student and their specific logon. So let's, can we get back a screen or go, let's just, we can close that and go, there we are. So I want to show what else is on this landing page because there's some helpful information here. And it says, what can I find in Clever, Khan Academy, Istation, ST Math, Teen Engagement, and many, many more. And as we slide down, we have some directions. So if parents are at home and they're trying to figure this out, they can take advantage of these videos that we have posted here. And so the first video is using Clever with ST Math. And let's hit that a minute.
Okay.
In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how to log into Clever from home so your student can access all the great digital programs like ST Math and Istation that their teacher wants them to use at home. So the very first thing you need to have installed on your computer is the Chrome browser. You're also going to need the very latest version of Istation to use that program through Clever. I'll show you how to get that at the end of the video.
Okay. So
again, first thing you need, you have to have the Chrome browser. You can
And so she goes on and she explains, we need a Chrome browser, we need the latest edition of Istation and ST Math. She explains how to get that. And when we've gotten those calls saying, it's not working, 9 times out of 10 it has to do with not having the most recent version of those. So what I want people to know is that there is support available right here from this district website. We also have information there on how to get to both Istation and ST Math from an iPad. So, and this can be useful to people in schools. It also is useful for people at home.
So one thing that's going to make it easier this year once we move past the bumps is that it is single sign-on, which means it's going to be one time, same thing. Last year, as opposed to this year, last year ST Math had a different sign-on than Istation. One used a dot, one didn't use a dot. So this year we don't have to remember all that. It's one single sign-on. You log on to Clever and then you go to where you need to go from there.
So that single sign-on was the student's ID number. So they had a long number that they had to remember, and then they had to remember, did they need a dot or not need a dot, and then they had to log on here, several times, every single time.
Yes.
So now, once they log onto the computer with their personal email and password, R2D2 we call it, then they're in.
Yes.
And whichever program they're going, they're in. And so that is a great convenience. And I had a person who works with special needs children in the middle school say to me this week, wow, it has cut so far down on the frustration level because once it's in, it's in. So a word about the password situation. We have asked students to change their passwords this year. And so when I log on to my district resources, I have to have a password. When I log into the bank, I have to have a password. And we've seen what happens when these things are compromised. And so we really are working with students to teach them digital citizenship early. This is yours. This is private. And it's amazing what really young kids can do and how teachers can help them. Carol, you were talking to me about some of the ways that you have suggested for kindergarten teachers, possibly first grade as well, to help students with passwords.
Right. And we recognize that our children in kindergarten are just learning letters and numbers, and a lot of them don't know how to use a computer. So that's part of the program for ST Math. It just kind of helps them acclimate to what is a computer, how does it work. And so of course teachers are concerned, or parents are concerned, well, my child doesn't know their letters yet. They don't know the characters on a computer. So the teacher has access in their math learning site to a paper keyboard that they can print out and record the child's username and password if necessary. And I suggest putting it in an envelope and sending it home or handing it to the parent. And then when the child's in the car, or if they don't have a computer at home, they can practice. What are the digits that I need? What are the letters? How do I make a capital letter? If I do have any unusual characters, where are they located? How do I do that? And they can practice it at any time on this paper keyboard.
So really, in addition to using Istation and ST Math and learning to read and learning to do math, this learning how to function in this digital world is a part of a basic education for our kids today.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. So what motivates kids to participate in these programs? What makes them want to sit down? You said they enjoy it. Why?
Yes. Well, it's intrinsically motivating for ST Math. There are no big bells, whistles, games that are going on. They are simply problem solving.
They're not getting lollipops every time.
No, they're not. Although we do celebrate success, and they celebrate in the classroom and even in the schools. They celebrate children's goals and accomplishments. But for the most part, the children are intrinsically motivated. They want to help Gigi overcome this obstacle, and they keep working at it, persevering, which is a wonderful thing to develop, perseverance. in order to solve these problems. And if they can't solve it or they become frustrated, the teacher is then able to step in and offer some suggestions or help them. How do I think through this? What's the best way for me to approach it differently? So it's just an intrinsic motivation.
Well, we all want to do well, right? I come to work and I hope to do well.
And they keep doing it. You know, it is, sometimes we think, wow, I'm amazed that they keep doing it. You know, they play games at home on video games and they keep doing it. They want to move forward and master the levels. And
do you see that with iStation as well?
Yes, part of the teacher's role for iStation is to conference with the students and help the students together with the teacher set goals so that they can move up throughout the year from month to month. iStation has some beautiful certificates that they can print, and kids love getting certificates. Kids love to go to the principal or the assistant principal and talk to them about they've made progress. So there are lots of ways that they can celebrate success for that.
When we were talking before, Carol, you mentioned to me that there was a study done. Can you tell us briefly a little bit about the...
Well, we've had research studies done both in-house that have been done and independent research studies that were done that have proved that when children do, as Cherie talked about, they work with fidelity, they accomplish as much as they can of the curriculum through the year. We focus on trying to get at least to 75 to 80% by the end of the year, if not 100. Then they're showing gains, both student learning gains and on their state tests and local tests as well.
As we close out, if a teacher, parent is struggling or not accessing these resources through Clever the way that we're showing this here, what should they do?
Well, the first step would be to talk to the teacher and see what the teacher has to offer, because at the district level we do put out informational pieces in newsletters and through emails, so that would be the first step. If the teacher's having trouble, then there's somebody at the school that they can help, the tech person, and then if it still doesn't work, there's people at the district that can help them.
All right. I think the main thing is don't suffer in silence.
Right.
We're getting people on. It is working.
And we're here to help you.
And we're here to help, and we can help you. And,
Exactly.
And encourage your child to work on each program
Absolutely.
in a focused manner.
Yeah. So just a little bit of time at home each week would really make a big
Right.
difference. Well, ladies, I want to thank you again for your work. You are unsung heroes because we rarely put you on TV. But people need to know that there are wonderful educators like the two of you there to support teachers and support students and parents. So thank you for your work. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for joining us for this informational session on ST Math and iStation. And we hope that you will stay tuned for our next installment of Digital Learning.